Coming up next on KPBS Evening Edition, President Barack Obama changes his position on same-sex marriage.
It's an historic announcement. We get reaction from San Diego's mayor, who had a similar change of heart.
That this is really an equality issue. It's not one that you can simply vote on.
KPBS Evening Edition starts now. Hello, thanks for joining us. I'm Joanne Farian.
And I'm Dwayne Brown. The political world is buzzing tonight over President Barack Obama's declaration of support for same-sex marriage.
He's the first president to do so. He made the statement in an interview with ABC. It's a change from his previous position that civil unions were enough. The American Foundation for Equal Rights calls this a proud day for Americans. That group sued to overturn Proposition 8, and the case is headed to the U.S. Supreme Court. So far, there's been no comment from Proposition 8 supporters, but Republican president candidate Mitt Romney says he will not change his own view against same-sex marriage.
In 2007, you may recall, San Diego Mayor Jerry Sanders reversed his opinion and came out in support of same-sex marriage. We sat down with him this afternoon to get his reaction to President Obama's decision. Mayor Sanders, your stance on same-sex marriage evolved much like President Obama's has. Talk about what it's like as a politician for your position to change so dramatically to support same-sex marriage.
Well, you know, I think that we all have different feelings about things, and we're advised to do different things by political advisors. And I think there finally comes a time when you say, I've got to do what's right. And I think that's exactly what the president's done. It's what I did back in 2007. And it becomes a very personal decision at that point. And you know that you can't look other people in the face and say, I don't think you're as valuable as anybody else. And that's really what it boiled down to in my case. I have a daughter who's in a same-sex relationship, had a lot of co-workers who were, I've had a lot of friends, and I've always been active in the gay lesbian community, and I felt it was really important to acknowledge that and to recognize this is really an equality issue.
And what can you share with San Diegans about your firsthand experience with having a same-sex couple in your family?
Well, it's great. I've gained another daughter, and they have a very committed, loving relationship. I've seen them shopping a few times. I'll be in the same store and run into them, and it makes me feel good to see two people who really love each other. So I think it's been really good for both of them, and it's also been good for our family.
Mm-hmm. Now, the timing of the president's announcement comes on the heels of a decision by North Carolina voters to oppose same-sex marriage as well as civil unions. What direction do you think society is headed when it comes to this issue?
Well, I think society's obviously heading towards recognizing equality for all in the marriage arena. I think you're going to find some states that may think that voters are able to determine that. We found in California that wasn't the case, that this is really an equality issue. It's not one that you can simply vote on and have a lot of rhetoric around it. It's one that the Constitution guarantees. So I think that they'll find they'll be passed by, and history won't judge them well. And I think that history's going to judge President Obama very well. He's the first president to come out and actually support this. And the leader of the United States doing that, I think, is very important and very historic.
What about the people who are watching right now who disagree with this decision? You felt the heat, I'm sure, in the past.
Well, I did, but I have to tell you, when I look into people's eyes, everybody should have a right to love somebody and to marry them. And I don't think that you can simply vote on that right any more than there's other rights that we thought we could vote on. I think it's an issue that's a personal issue, and it's one that politics probably shouldn't play a part in. It should probably be equality, and people should deserve the opportunity to marry.
I saw a quote from the president. He says he hesitated about same-sex marriage because he thought civil unions were sufficient.
Well, and that's exactly what I thought until I was educated. And once I was educated, I found that they're not equal. And it also sets, what it says is, this class of people, civil unions is okay for you, but for everybody else, we're going to call it marriage and let you marry. So what they're saying to this class is, you're not quite as good as everybody else. And I think that's what was so compelling in my feelings.
Mayor Jerry Sanders will have more response to the president's same-sex marriage decision on the NewsHour right after Evening Edition at 7.
Mayor Sanders will be one of the speakers at this Friday's public celebration of life for Junior Seau. Other funeral services and Seau's burial will be private. The Charger Hall of Famer committed suicide a week ago at his home in Oceanside. Friday's public memorial will be held at Qualcomm Stadium. It starts at 6:30, but the parking lot will open early in the afternoon to accommodate the expected crowd. The new owner of UT San Diego could add another newspaper to his portfolio. Today, Doug Manchester confirmed to KPBS he is in talks to buy the Orange County Register, but he says it's premature to say there's a done deal. The current owners of the Register are not commenting.
The thought of another liquor store in City Heights has rallied San Diego's Somali community. They're fighting to oppose a liquor license application for a store next to a mosque. KPBS reporter Tom Fudge joins us from the News Center. This debate is over University Market. Tom, where exactly is it?
Well, it is exactly at University and 50th in City Heights. And this is a neighborhood which is very racially diverse, very culturally diverse. And University Market also happens to be right across the street from a small mosque. And across the street in the other direction is an Islamic parochial school and a Buddhist temple.
And why do the owners of the store want a license to sell beer and wine?
Well, they want a license to sell beer and wine because they feel like they need to make more money. This is a convenience store, is the best way to describe it. But over the past 5 years, the Somali community has established a number of grocery stores right across the street, in fact, one right next to them, and they feel that they need to be able to compete financially, and this is the way they're going to do it. Now, the people in the community believe that this is going to be another problem for City Heights. They feel that City Heights, like a lot of neighborhoods, has too many liquor stores, too many establishments that sell liquor, and this is just going to be another one that is going to attract loitering and crime, in their opinion. And as a result of this neighborhood pressure, the City Heights Planning Group did recommend that the liquor license, be denied for this establishment.
And, of course, as you mentioned, it is next to a mosque. Does that have anything to do with this debate?
Well, Islam does forbid its followers to drink alcohol, but I asked the Somalis about this, and they said, well, no, this is not about religion. It's true that Islam is against alcoholic beverages, but this is an issue about neighborhood, it's about crime, and it's not a matter of Islam being against alcoholic drink.
And finally, what happens next?
What happens next is eventually this question will go to the San Diego Planning Commission. They're going to have to decide whether University Market will receive a conditional use permit, and after that, it goes to the City Council.
KPBS reporter Tom Fudge. There are some major changes on the June primary ballot for partisan races. Joanne explains at the roundtable.
Voters will see some big changes on their ballot this election, changes that could dramatically affect the outcome of many races. Here to explain is County Registrar of Voters Deborah Seiler. Thanks for being here, Deborah.
You're welcome.
I'm talking about changes really to the type of primary. Now, last time you were here, I called it an open primary. I know others have called it a top two primary. I had a lot of viewer mail on this. Explain what kind of primary is it this June?
Well, this June, for those contests that are for U.S. Senate, U.S. Representatives, State Assembly, State Senate. Those are, that primary election is a top two open primary. So everybody's correct.
Okay.
All of the voters may vote for all the candidates listed there. And the candidates listed there, and I have some examples here, span all of the different political parties. So you may see, you will see, for example, in your contest for U.S. Senate, you will see candidates who are Republicans, candidates who are Democrats, American Independent, Libertarian, etc., all listed on the same ballot. And any voter can freely choose from among those candidates listed and vote for that candidate.
So this is really what's different compared to the last election, because now you've got examples here. If you're a registered Republican or a registered Democrat, you are going to get the same, virtually the same ballot.
Virtually the same ballot. Now, when you go into the polls, or if you've received a mail ballot, Your ballot will be a separate Democratic ballot or Republican ballot or other party ballot if you are registered with that party. And the reason for that is that the very first contest on that ballot is the contest for the presidential primary. And the presidential primary is, for the most part, a closed primary. So only Democrats and nonpartisans get to vote in the Democrat. On the Republican side, only Republicans get to vote in that presidential primary contest. So that's at the very beginning of the ballot, and that's the reason why we do have separate party ballots.
But the rest of it's the same.
That's exactly right.
Okay. Now, if we have this kind of race now, let's use an example. Let's say the 52nd Congressional District. Currently, we have a Republican in office, Brian Bilbray. We've got two Democrats who are sort of close in this race. Could we end up, after this primary, with a Democrat versus a Democrat if there's a runoff?
That is correct. The top two vote getters go forward to the November election, and it doesn't matter which party they are. They just have to be the top two vote getters.
Now, if we're in a nonpartisan race, though, say the race for mayor or even county supervisor, it's not, in terms of a runoff election, it's not necessarily the same, is it?
It varies from office to office, but for the most part, for example, in the mayor's race, if no one gets 50% or more in the June primary election, the top two vote getters will go forward to the November ballot. But it's possible in the mayor's race for someone to win outright in the June primary. The same is true for example, for the city council seats. And the difference there between that primary and the top two primary is that those are nonpartisan contests. There's no party preference or party affiliation listed for those candidates because they are technically nonpartisan offices.
Okay, technically there is the key word. So let's move on to talk about the number of ballots that went out this week. I was so surprised to read your office sent out more than 700,000 mail-in ballots.
That's correct. Increasingly, the voters are finding that this permanent vote-by-mail option is so convenient that they are registering to vote and checking off that little box to say, I want to be a permanent vote-by-mail voter. So that's just about 50% of all of our voters who are signing up to vote that way.
And when do you start counting these ballots?
Well, the ballots are coming back already. We put them in the mail on Monday. We already have some ballots back in our office, and we hold those ballots until about 10 days before the election, and then we slice the envelope, take them out, and we start scanning them. We don't release any results until after the polls close at 8 o'clock on Election Day.
This was the other thing that surprised me. I thought, especially as a reporter, you realize that even a single news event could sway public opinion. So really, people may be voting now, and lots can happen between now and June 5th.
That is true. New information could come out. That's absolutely true.
And can people still request a mail-in ballot?
Yes, they can. People can still register to vote if they haven't already. The deadline is May 21st. And if they would like to request a mail ballot, and they haven't done so already, there's a form on the back of this sample ballot booklet that goes out to every single voter. They can just use that form, fill it out, and send it to us. Now, we need to receive it by May 29th. That's the deadline for receiving that application.
We're out of time, but we have a lot of information and links on our website, kpbs.org. Deborah Seiler, thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome.
In a moment, we'll look at one of the issues on the ballot, a new term limits measure. And from our Fronteras desk, the story of an American teenager raised in a Mexican orphanage who's now reclaiming her citizenship. This is KPBS Evening Edition.
Tonight on KPBS. At 8, the place is South Africa's Kruger Park. The story of sisters, two remarkable and extremely rare white lion cubs on their journey to adulthood on Nature. Then at 9, is our weather getting more extreme? And if so, how bad will it get? Nova looks for clues in the deadliest tornado outbreak in decades. And at 10, on a second edition of Nova, a camera team chases tornadoes, capturing hair-raising footage. That's all tonight on KPBS.
The American people have named PBS
the most trusted source of news
and public affairs
for the 8th year in a row.
Trust.
The American people have spoken.
Thank you.
I'm Judy Woodruff. On the next News Hour, the results of Indiana's Republican primary, where veteran Senator Richard Lugar battled a Tea Party challenger. That's Wednesday on the PBS News Hour.
KPBS Evening Edition is made possible by Joan and Irwin Jacobs and by
Today, a judge overturned a nearly $10,000 small claims judgment against Honda. Heather Peters won the lawsuit over mileage claims in Honda's advertising. In today's ruling, the judge said federal regulations govern those ads, and he said most drivers get mileage close to what's in the fuel economy ratings. In our continuing election coverage, we look at how Proposition 28 impacts the state legislature. Joanne has more at the roundtable.
Just how long should California state legislators be allowed to stay in office? Voters will decide next month when they cast their vote on Prop 28. Here to tell us more about Prop 28 and the politics of term limits is Vlad Kogan, political science PhD candidate at UC San Diego, but soon to be assistant professor at Ohio State University. First of all, congratulations on the job. And tell us, Vlad, what are the current rules with regard to the Assembly and the State Senate?
Sure. So right now, legislators that get elected, they can serve up to 3 two-year terms in the State Assembly. So that's a total of 6 years. And then they can also serve up to 2 four-year terms in the State Senate, which is another 8 years. So if you combine the two, you can serve for a maximum of 14 years. Now, the State Senate has only half the number of seats of the State Assembly. So only really half of lawmakers can serve the full 14 years right now.
And how would Prop 28, if passed, change those rules?
Prop 28 would do 2 things. So first, it would let legislators serve up to 12 years in a single house if they want to. So they can stay, rather than leaving after 6 years, they can stay for 12 in the Assembly, and rather than leaving after 8 years, they can stay for 12 in the Senate. But it would also say that, once you've served out those 12 years, you can't go into the other house. So it would reduce the total amount of time you can serve in the state legislature from 14 to 12.
So I want you to put on your pro-Prop 28 hat right now and tell me, what are the arguments to support this proposition?
Well, I think the arguments on behalf of Prop 28 is to say that really this is a balance. This is a compromise between having term limits, which are very popular, which most people want, but also giving legislators the time to become experts and really do a better job. I think the problem right now that we have is because the term limits are short, and because folks that run for office are really people that want to make politics a career, we have this game of musical chairs. People come into office, and as soon as they get there, they know 6 years from then they'll have to be looking for another office, and so they spend a lot of their time looking for their next job. And by extending those time horizons, by giving them 12 years, you really create more incentive for lawmakers to really invest effort and time in becoming good policymakers. Now, on the no side, and I think it's an argument that's harder to make, but people that like term limits may not support this because they see this as really sort of a gradual chipping away at the very concept of term limits. That once you pass this, maybe you open the door to repealing term limits as a whole. I think again, that's a difficult argument to make, partly because I think voters in California are never going to get rid of term limits, at least not in the near future, because again, they are very popular.
So I also read when I looked at sort of the pro and the against, it seemed to follow along party lines, that we had Democrats who, or at least the Democratic Party, who supported this proposition, contributed money, Republican Party that did not. Why would this be a partisan issue? Well,
I think there's 2 explanations. The first is historically term limits in California has been a partisan issue, partly because one of the ways that term limits was sold to California in 1990 was a way to get rid of a very powerful leader of the Assembly, Willie Brown, who was very, very strong leader. He used to call himself the Ayatollah of the Assembly. And because he was very good at what he did, a lot of the original impetus for term limits in California came from Republicans who really wanted to get him out of office. And the measure, the ads, really were sold as this is a way to get rid of Willie Brown. So historically, it's really been an issue that has divided along party lines. And I think more recently, some of that may have carried over into the current debate as well. But also, I think there's also an ideological component, that if you are a person that doesn't want big government, that doesn't want strong government, then measures like term limits that in some ways weaken the legislative branch and make it more difficult to get policy made is maybe something you would support on ideological grounds.
Now, you mentioned 1990. This was the first time that California supported term limits?
So that's when term limits were put into place in California. That's right.
Now, but we have a more recent example as well, don't we, going back a few years ago?
Yes, so about 5 years ago, we had a ballot measure that was very similar to this one. It would have reduced the overall time from 12 to 14 years, from 14 to 12 years, and allowed legislators to serve in one office. It came close to passing, but it was very controversial because there was some provisions in there that applied the extension, that applied these measures to existing lawmakers. And in particular, it would have allowed the current leader in one of the houses to really serve 18 years. And that was very controversial, and a lot of the advertising, this was really sold as a backroom deal to benefit that particular lawmaker. Now, Prop 28 does not do that. It does not apply to anybody that's currently sitting in office. It would only apply to people elected in the future. And so I think in some ways it fixes what many saw as really one of the fatal flaws of the previous measure.
Okay, Vlad Kogan, thanks so much. That was a great explanation.
Sure. Thanks for having me.
Hundreds of children whose parents have died or abandoned them live in group homes in Baja California. Most of the homes depend on the Charity of Americans to operate. We recently told you about the relationship between these charities and the homes. Tonight, our Fronteras Desk editor, Jose Luis Jimenez, tells us about a young lady who survived an abusive childhood and is on her way to the U.S. in search of a better life.
Meet Flor Jacqueline. On the outside, she looks like your typical teenager. Full of energy, self-conscious about her looks, likes to hang out with friends and draw. But her life story is atypical. She's an American citizen, born in Long Beach, California, and brought to Mexico when she was 4. She was abused by relatives in Mexico and has spent about half her life in a casa de hogar, which is similar to what in the U.S. is called an orphanage. It's what passes for foster care in Mexico, loosely regulated group homes that get most of their funding from foreigners. Now 18, she is reclaiming her U.S. citizenship. Her ultimate goal is to go to college in the U.S. and work with animals.
Because I see that there are many more opportunities over there to get ahead, because here it seems like life is much more difficult.
Flor's case is unique. Maria Dolores Pares Pombo has studied immigration and orphans at Tijuana's College of the Northern Border.
What is rare to see are kids who are U.S. citizens living in an orphanage or in Mexico by themselves because someone from the U.S. will usually claim them.
Flor has lived most of her life in and around Ensenada, Mexico, and was frequently abused by her mother and grandmother. She said her love for animals came because she viewed them as a refuge. She could talk to dogs and cats, and they would not yell back. At age 8, neighbors called the authorities when they heard disturbance at Flor's house. They found her bleeding, and she was taken to a hospital for treatment. She was removed from her family and taken to the first Casa de Hogar. Attempts at reunification with her family failed, so she was placed in a second home and later a third, which she escaped from. Flor seemed destined for a tough life on the streets. One of her friends got pregnant when she was 15. But at an age when most people heading down the wrong path don't turn around, Flor changed.
More than anything, I saw my family and how they were, and I said, oh no, I don't want to be like them. And it was that, more than anything, that inspired me to change.
At age 16 and still a ward of the state, Flor was placed in Rancho El Faro, where she still lives. The orphanage is in the Valle de Guadalupe, surrounded by vineyards and olive trees. Rancho means ranch in English, and that is how this group home is run. They raise animals and crops to eat. They wash their clothes the old-fashioned way. The new kitchen under construction will burn wood because it's cheaper than buying propane. About 35 orphans live here. The majority are teenage girls. Most homes in Mexico will not accept children older than 12. Flor has spent many years in an orphanage, and she always knew that she was a U.S. citizen. But because she was a minor, she needed her mother's permission to cross over to the United States. Her mother never gave it to her. But now that she's an adult, she is on her way. Yeah. The director of Rancho El Faro says Flor uses her rough childhood as motivation.
She focuses on what she wants, and that should help her break the cycle of abuse and dependency that she grew up in, because it hurt her growing up in an orphanage.
To help Flor reach her goal, an Orange County-based charity called the Corazón de Vida Foundation has taken a special interest in her. Employees helped her obtain her birth certificate and have driven her to the U.S. consulate in Tijuana to obtain her passport. But why take such an intense interest in one orphan from the hundreds the foundation helps? Maricarmen McFarland Hernandez says Flor is a special case.
Flor Jacqueline has a strong talent. She has a big heart, and she knows exactly that she wants in the life.
The foundation wants to do more than help Flor claim her citizenship. The plan is to have her spend the summer in the United States learning English and then attend college in the U.S. in 2013 after graduating from high school in Mexico, where she gets good grades. Flor's goals go beyond school. She wants to help her family despite the challenges that poses. Flor wants to reunite with her mother and support her siblings, 3 brothers and a little sister who all live in Mexico. Despite growing up in an extremely dysfunctional family, she feels an obligation to be there for them.
That's Jose Luis Jimenez reporting from our Fronteras desk. You can find more on orphans in Baja California at fronterasdesk.org. This is KPBS Evening Edition.
Next time on Doc Martin.
I need to look after James.
When Martin's in charge of the baby.
Babysitting is not in my job description.
He finds unexpected help.
I would be more than happy to look after him for you, Doc.
But things go very badly.
Stop staring at my baby. Get your own.
You gave our baby to Mrs. Tishel.
And Doc must rely on his charm to save the day.
Tell her you're a difficult person. Say it.
Doc Martin. Watch the season finale of Doc Martin, Thursday at 9 on KPBS.
Next time, Antiques Roadshow is in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
The market for Russian paintings has exploded in the past 5 years.
Oh my God, really?
Wow, who knew?
What treasures will our experts discover in the city of lakes? Find out when we visit Minneapolis next time on Antiques Roadshow.
Monday at 8 on KPBS.
Welcome back to the Public Square on KPBS Evening Edition. As we told you earlier, President Obama announced his support today for same-sex marriage. Coming up in just a few minutes, the News Hour will have complete coverage. We will also have more San Diego reaction tomorrow on Evening Edition. As you know, the issue has created great debate here in California and prompted many long legal battles. Let me know what you think of the president's support of same-sex marriage. I would like to use some of your comments on the air tomorrow, so let me know if I can use your name. Send me an email, jfarian@kpbs.org, or you can always drop us a line on Twitter or Facebook. And now let's go back to the news desk where Dwayne has a recap of tonight's other top stories.
Funeral plans have been announced for Charger Hall of Famer Junior Seau. He committed suicide a week ago. A private funeral will be held Friday morning, followed by a public celebration of life at Qualcomm Stadium Friday night. Some neighbors in City Heights are fighting to stop a new liquor store from opening. The proposed store would be next to a mosque and a school. Neighbors say there are already plenty of liquor stores in the area. The store's owner says one more won't make a difference. You can watch and comment on any of the stories you saw tonight on our website, kpbs.org/evening edition. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night.